Hola, amigos, and welcome to Spain Impossible. This is the Fat Loss After 50 podcast, and this is step 6. So if you stumbled across this video, check on back in the playlist of the podcast. There is a start here, step 0, step 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step 6 starts after you have completed the first 12 weeks on the blueprint. So after you have filled out 12 weeks worth of those tracking sheets, this is what we're going to start to talk about now. So if you've made it to 12 weeks, oh my God, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. The first 2 weeks are by far the most difficult, but sticking with it all the way through week 12, whew. But the good news is you're down probably quite a bit, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 pounds. That's good news, right? And if you've made it this far, the rest is simple. Remember, we don't talk about making huge changes in the blueprint. We're talking about swapping out some meals here and there, maybe moving something back to lunch, away from dinner, things like that. Stay on that King Prince Pauper. Breakfast is the biggest meal of the day. Lunch is the second largest of the day. Dinner, we need to think about tapas, just light finger foods, be done, and go to bed. So you guys have made it to week 12, and that's awesome. That means all of that stuff is so close to becoming habit, because it takes about 3 to 4 months to form a habit in the mind, and then about another 4 to 8 months of continued doing it in order for the habit to become ultimately subconscious. And that's where we're headed. That's how you get rid of the standard American diet forever, because you create this habit where when you're thinking about food, you're thinking about protein, healthy fat, fiber, and you're thinking about King Prince Pauper. So you are in that state of mind, whether you're sitting down to a meal at a restaurant, off at a anniversary party, birthday party, wedding, whatever it is. And sometimes you have to step outside that. Let's face it, I've been to weddings before or on vacation or whatever where there just aren't good options. But now you're in a place after 12 weeks of doing this where you can step out of those lines once in a while and be okay, because you had one bad meal out of, 21 for the week, 84 for the month, so hey man, this is the most fantastic part. When you get to a point where not only have you lost an incredible amount of weight, you're feeling better, you're feeling healthier, you're moving your body, at least walking, and now you've developed these habits where you're paying attention to what size your meal is throughout the day, and you're paying attention to things like, does this have good protein in it? Does this have good fiber in it? Does this have any healthy fat in it? Or is it all just ultra-processed, standard American diet stuff that I don't want in my body anymore? Like I've said before, there are no inherently bad foods. We don't need to criminalize or call things toxic or poisonous or whatever. There are no inherently bad foods. There are some very bad choices, and there are some very good choices. Now, if you've been following this for a while, you've heard me talk about this being a whole food, plant-based diet. And some people are like, you start off with eggs and bacon for breakfast. I understand. This is a slow process of small tweaks. So if breakfast is going to be your biggest meal of the day, and because of chronobiology, it affects your body differently, Why not, when you're doing this, give yourself something for breakfast that you've come to enjoy, as long as you're not doing pancakes and waffles and things like that covered in syrup, which is just added sugar. So while there are, yes, better choices on the whole food plant-based diet than eggs and bacon, obviously, as well as I've talked many times that I take beef jerky at night for dinners because it's simple, easy source of protein. Well, now we've done 12 weeks and we're going to start doing some small minor tweaks to start moving more plant-based, if that makes sense to you. So, maybe instead of eggs and bacon in the morning, we switch to like steel cut oats with hemp seeds in it, which you can add the hemp seeds after it's already cooked. Stir it up in there. You can add some different things to it. Like I'm kicking around the idea of taking some of my frozen blueberries and some of my coconut milk mixture, the coconut almond mixture that we've talked about, and blending those up and turning that into ice cubes. Just pour it into an ice cube tray. I'm going to try it, so we'll see how it works. And then adding those to oatmeal. So you get a little bit of blueberry, you get a little bit of the healthy fat from the coconut milk, almond milk mixture, and it cools it down so you can, if you're in a rush in the morning, eat it a little quicker. The main thing is we're not talking instant oatmeal. Rolled oats are better. Sprouted rolled oats are even better than that. Steel cut oats just happen to have the most fiber and they're the least processed of the possibilities for oatmeal. And I'm not saying oatmeal has to be your go-to. I'm just saying that's an option. And here's a tip for oatmeals. If you do overnight oats, even if you heat them up, overnight oats is you have a little container and you put your oats in and you fill it with like an almond milk or, a little bit of the coconut milk, almond milk blend, and then top it off with some almond milk and leave it in the fridge all night so that the oats soften and absorb the moisture and all those good things. Even if you heat it up in the morning, that creates more resistant starch in those oats. And you've heard me talk about resistant starch before. So if you can eat it cold, thumbs up, it's good. Throw some hemp seeds in it, maybe throw some fruit in it, maybe, those types of things. You can even add straight up 100% cocoa powder to it, or maybe a good vegetarian option for protein powder. I believe Orgain makes one that's got 50 superfoods in it. I'm going to be buying that at Costco starting, here shortly. I'm going to move through some of the stuff that I still have on hand. I still have a little bit of eggs and a little bit of bacon on hand. I'm not throwing that stuff away. I'm going to eat it up. I'm just going to start looking and transitioning to more plant-based foods to replace those meats, because ultimately I want to get down to at maximum having animal proteins like eggs, dairy, cheese, obviously pork, beef, chicken, turkey, to limiting it to 3 to 4 meals, absolute maximum throughout the week, preferably 1 to 2. And we're talking small portions. We're talking only a few ounces, 2 to 3 ounces. So other things you can do in order to start pulling some things out, like pulling the jerky out of my dinner, an apple, pear, some carrots. If you enjoy snacking on the little baby cut carrots, take a few of those in place of the jerky. People worry about protein all the time when they're supposedly vegan or vegetarian or whatever. There are so many plants out there that have complete proteins. And one of the powerhouses is peas. Peas per 100 grams, I think, is the number one for protein for 100 grams of peas. And that's why most vegetarian or vegan protein powders use pea protein, because it's so abundant in peas. So The other option for breakfast might be to switching to, some rice and beans and potatoes that have been pre-cooked and then reheated. So we're getting those starches, as much of that starch converted to resistant starch as possible. Because remember, the good gut bacteria loves resistant starch, and that will continue to help our gut flora flourish. Wow, say that 5 times. So as long as you're pre-cooking them and then cooling them and reheating them at least 24 hours later, I'm going to be doing a video, if it's not already up on the channel, of my potatoes. I'm going to chop up a bag of potatoes, air fry them, show you what I do with them, and then I portion them out into little snack-sized baggies and stick them in the freezer so that when I make breakfast, I just grab one of those baggies out and empty it in the pan and allow them to reheat in the pan with whatever else I happen to be cooking for breakfast. So in the future, it's going to be more and more rice, beans, potatoes, those types of things, so that I can get away from the eggs and the bacon. When you eat apples and pears and peaches and plums, skin on. All right. There are so many compounds in those skins that are good for the body. You want to get those in there. If you want to slice it up, dice it up, whatever, you don't eat the seeds. Don't eat, you don't have to eat the core. I know there's some thing going around where you eat the whole apple, and I'm like, no thanks. I'll just eat the fleshy part around the outside edge and the peel, because the peel is loaded with vitamins and good compounds for in the body. And you can look that up. Carrots, I've already talked about baby cut carrots. Those are a good thing to add in. Cucumbers, if you like them. Even pickles, try to watch the sodium intake a little bit on those, but there's some great pickles out there. Olives, of course, I already have olives. These are the types of things. We just want to take that jerky or whatever it is that's meat and cheese out of that dinner, and what can we replace it with that's plant-based. So that's about the food after 12 weeks. And this doesn't have to be an overnight change. We talk all the time about doing small, simple changes. So if you hit the end of 12 weeks, it's not full stop, throw out the food that you haven't eaten because it's eggs and bacon or whatever. It's eat that stuff up and start thinking about, what can I change this to so that it becomes more plant-based? Because there's evidence all over, scientifically proven stuff, that the more plants you eat, the healthier you are. So I don't tell anybody, don't ever eat a cheeseburger, don't ever eat a steak, don't ever get a chicken drumstick. Just make those minimal. Just make those things special things. So continue working towards your 7 days of exercise. If you're not at 7 days of at least 30 minutes a day of exercise, even if it's just walking, get to the 30 minutes, get to the 7 days a week. So you are moving your body every single day. And this is the part where we're going to talk about adding in rebounding. If you haven't already, I would encourage you to have already bought a rebounder and already started just bouncing up and down on it a little bit, just a couple minutes a day, because it does open up your lymphatic system and allow for drainage. And the lymphatic system does take up some of those toxins and things that were stored in the fat and are now loose in the bloodstream. So getting your lymphatic system moving and draining on a daily basis is a good thing. So even if it's just a minute or two, just getting that acceleration, or zero gravity, and deceleration when you come back down. That's what moves the lymphatic system as you bounce. And we're not talking about, clearing we're just talking about bouncing If you want to jump a little bit where your feet actually leave the trampoline, that's fine. But you don't have to be, 2 feet off the trampoline in order for this to work. You just have to get on it and start going up and down, because it's that movement in your body that helps the lymphatic system open up and drain. And it doesn't have to be a half-hour workout on the rebounder. It doesn't. Hey, if you found a YouTube video and you love rebounding and you want to do that instead of walking, go for it. Whatever you can do, just get in that 30 minutes, 7 days a week. That's what we're looking for. So you can also look to start doing some modified weight-bearing exercises for your upper body. Because if we're walking and we're rebounding, we're really only working, for the most part, our lower body. So if you want to bring in some exercises to, work on your shoulders and your arms and things like that, push-ups against the wall, push-ups against the stairs. So, you're at just a minimal angle. Or if you can do push-ups, just do push-ups. You can do shoulder presses over, take a couple of cans, can of black beans and a can of whatever else you have laying around, and just do some. You don't have to have weights. You don't have to have a gym. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. Maybe check into some yoga. Maybe you can find some yoga stuff, because yoga is kind of a total body workout. And there's tons of people that put out yoga videos on YouTube for beginners. So if you can find something like that, we're just looking to start incorporating, some more parts of the body. That's all. We're not looking to go a half an hour of walking, a half hour of yoga, a half hour on the rebounder, we're not looking to do that. We're talking about 30 minutes of exercise, 7 days a week. And if you want to do a little bit more, like your walk is 30 minutes in the morning, and when you get home later, you do 3 or 4 minutes on the rebounder, and then do a few push-ups on the stairs, and maybe do some arm raises, maybe do some jumping jacks on the rebounder, because that gets your arms involved too. Those types of things. We're just looking for little additional ways we can move other parts of the body. And we're not looking for going to the gym and hitting the weights for an hour or any of that kind of stuff. Because like I've said before, if you're not going to do this kind of thing for the rest of your life, why start now? This is the Fat Loss After 50 vodcast. We're going to be walking forever until the day we die, hopefully. The more we walk, the better we are at walking. The more it increases balance and stability, so there's less falls and things as you get older. But we're looking to just incorporate a little bit more of the upper body along with the lower body. So don't feel like you've got to do something extravagant in order to add in, a few minutes of rebounding and a few minutes doing some push-ups and some overhead presses with your shoulders. That's all we're talking about. So, you can even do shoulder shrugs, just simple movements that you can do, even just holding a jug of water, a jug of water in each hand and shrug your shoulders. This is simple, easy stuff that you don't need anything else for. We're not looking for any more leg stuff necessarily, because you're already using all of the muscles in your legs walking 30 minutes a day. So all in all, this is the part of the process where we start to get more and more plant-based. It's not, oh, you can't ever touch meat. It's not vegan. It's not vegetarianism. It is whole food, plant-based. So we want as minimally processed as possible. We're still not looking into the ultra-processed foods. We're still not grabbing, mixes and stuff off the shelves. If you want to season something, I encourage you to use individual seasonings that are the actual seasonings, because anything that is a blend might have MSG in it. For years they've talked about how bad MSG is, and they can say no MSG as long as there's less than this percent in there. So there may still be MSG in there. So, you want to put garlic in, use garlic powder. You want to put red pepper in, used crushed red pepper or ground red pepper. You want to put turmeric or curry or paprika in. Those things are all great. Just make sure you're using just the spice. You don't want to go, oh, hey, here's this great blend. Because there might be MSG in there. There might be other things in there that you don't want in there. So just use the spices. And there will be more stuff coming. Here is the nugget for the end of this video. If you want to learn more about any food, any spice, the things that it does in the body, whether it's good, whether it's bad, there's a website called nutritionfacts.org. I will link it in the description. It is a nonprofit. It's a whole food, plant-based basic resource. This guy has a whole team of scientists that go through all of the research, and he puts out videos based on scientific research, whether things are good or bad for you. And you can go to the nutritionfacts.org site and type in avocado, type in garlic, type in turmeric, type in ginger, whatever it happens to be, and it will pull up all of the information that he's put out, either in video or in written form, of those particular things. And it is a wonderful resource if you're thinking about, hey, I heard about this. Should I add it in? That's a great place to start. Go to nutritionfacts.org, type in whatever that is, and see what he has to say about it, because it is only based on the available literature at that time. So, and he has, when new research comes out, said, whoa, 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 whoa. What we thought was going on before is actually attributable to something else. This new study has said it's not this, it's that. So he's not above changing his stance on things as the science evolves, as the research evolves. So I would encourage you to check out that website. You can get lost in there. He has podcasts. He has most of the videos are between probably 4 and 7 minutes. So they're not super long things. He does have some, of his speaking engagements on there, stuff like that. But those are more long and involved. But when you're actually looking into something like, say, ginger, there may be 10 videos that come up, and you can watch those at your leisure and learn all about what happens in your body when you add ginger to your diet, and whether it's fresh or whether it's ground or whatever. It's a great, great resource. But congratulations on making it 12 weeks into this blueprint. And here's to the next 12. And as long as you need to continue it to get to your healthy weight and your healthy body. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Remember to subscribe, and to smash that old thumbs up. And I'll put the QR code up here. Remember, I'm bringing all of this stuff to you for free. All of the stuff on the website is free. So buy me a coffee if you got value from this. I mean, especially you're 12 weeks into this thing. Buy me a coffee. Help me keep this stuff free, because if I get to a point where I'm just not able to maintain it anymore, I'm going to have to put it behind a paywall. And I know there's people out there that are lower income than even me, which I'm not high income, but lower income than you, that can't afford to pay $47 or $97 or whatever to get all of this information and to get all of these resources and to get healthy, because this is what is required to get healthy. Switching yourself to a whole food, plant-based diet is the only scientifically proven way of eating that reduces all-cause mortality. Holy cow, I said it right without fumbling over my tongue. Remember the other video where I couldn't say it right? So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for coming along. Congratulations on making it to 12 weeks. If you're at 12 weeks, if you're at somewhere else in there, hey, just keep these things in mind. This is what's coming when you get to 12 weeks, is we need to start moving away from the animal-based proteins and fats as much as possible. And if you think about the Mediterranean diet, other than the amount of fish that they eat, that's pretty much what we're talking about. So if you've heard of the Mediterranean diet and you've never understood how to do it simply, this is how you do it simply. This blueprint teaches you everything you need to know to switch yourself to a whole food, plant-based diet, slowly take you through the process, get you to where you need to be, and also includes some things like King Prince Pauper, so that we're not overeating at dinner. Because even when you overeat plants at dinner, because of chronobiology, they act differently in the body. So till next time, guys, come along for the journey, because it is going to be one hell of a journey. Hasta luego.